Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to 22 Panels and the Fourth World Book Club. I am joined by Mark Pracht and Sean Harklerode. As always, Mark is doing all sorts of rock and roll something or other, and
Well,
and
we're going
and
to talk about Kirby. Kirby!
and Sean's just giving the nice thumbs up, which seems much more Kirby. Um,
Oh,
I
I'm
don't know,
sorry.
man. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Do the Kirby finger.
The
I
Kirby.
do have to say that like I'm gonna call out one image. Trying to remember which book it was in. Which that's right. It was in the first Jimmy Olsen that we read. Um, of the two Jimmy Olsens this time.
Right.
Uh, the there's one of the werewolf pictures where it took me like a solid 2 or 3 minutes to figure out that that was a foot and toenails rather than one panel where the werewolf had like a jetpack sticking out from him. Because there's just these three white
Yeah, I
circles.
know. Yeah, you're
Oh,
talking
that's
on
page 15.
page
Yeah.
15. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I'm looking at and I'm going back. I'm like, is there something that I missed about this?
Yeah. So Jimmy Olsen 142, page 15 for
Yeah,
those
yeah.
playing along
I
at home.
for yeah, if you're playing along at home. Uh I want to say um that before we get deep into this, I have two things to talk about. One that Sean and I can both talk about is that we were at San Diego Comic-Con this last couple of weeks ago, and we went to the Jack Kirby Fourth World panel, which was God bless all you guys from the Kirby Museum and everything, but it was kind of meandering and a lot of like, oh, all of Jack's ideas. And my favorite moment during the whole thing where they were trying to puzzle out what it all meant was Mark Evanier going like, I don't think Jack even knew what it meant.
So what you're saying is we should invite them all to join this podcast because they'd fit right in.
Um, I
Yeah.
would I
Meandering and
I think it I mean, I don't know. Um,
I feel like for
Mark
me,
Evanier, if you're listening, you are absolutely invited. I would be honored, particularly if we can talk some Gru as well. And
well,
if
I
you bring
mean,
Sergio along, I'll just be over the moon.
Evanier did at the Jack Kirby tribute panel say that he has a Google alert for any time Jack is mentioned on the internet.
Oh,
And so I would not
hi,
be surprised.
Mark.
Hi. I mean, I don't know if he listens to everything, but I would certainly like
Just
when
in
I was
case.
sitting.
Hi, Mark.
Hi, Mark. But I
22
was sitting.
panels podcast at gmail.com. I'd love to hear from you.
I mean, you could probably reach. Like he has a website. You
I
could
know he does. I
email
keep
if you
meaning
want
to
to.
reach out.
I
But it's
you
even
might be
more
able to.
fun when people reach out to me.
That's true. Um, but
It makes me feel like I'm someone, Mark. Don't take that away from me.
well, I mean, like in that vein, I was like, well, he probably knows about my show then. Um,
Oh, yeah. Yeah, yeah.
but anyway, I did not speak to him. I thought maybe I should, but then I didn't.
And that
Yeah.
that, that I should toss out just because we forgot to mention it this time. Mark Pratt, the playwright behind the wonderful House of Ideas about Stan Lee and Jack Kirby.
Well, yeah, okay, but in addition to that, which was I enjoyed that panel tremendously, but I just thought that that was like the most uh, succinct and to the point element of anything that was talked about in that panel. I don't know if Sean
right.
agrees.
No, I felt like the title of it was Jack Kirby's Fourth World Heroes, Myths, and Philosophy.
Right.
And
And
from that title, you you expect someone has worked out the philosophy,
Right.
right?
But I don't think anybody had.
But no one had, and that's fine. I mean, it was what Mark Badger, Bruce Simon,
Right.
Mark.
Oh,
I mean, it was a great, very entertaining and lovely panel. But I from the title of it, I was expecting maybe someone had done a treatise
right.
or something.
Like somebody who'd written a dissertation or
Right,
something on it.
right.
Right. And
That's what I was expecting,
yeah,
but um, it, yeah,
it was not.
it was not.
It was not. God bless him. God
But
bless him. All big fans, obviously.
to that point, and I think with the books we're reading right now, um, not so much the Jimmy Olsen's. Uh, there is so much floating around in his head
Oh, of course. Yeah.
this month that I mean the influences are everywhere,
Yeah.
and going in all different
I
directions.
mean, you're gonna take out the Jimmy Olsen with the vampires and the werewolves?
I, I
Well, no, I look as a Universal Monster kid. I'm totally about these. These are my favorite Jimmy Olsens yet, right?
right.
Um, and I love the inks. I think we talked last time. This is Vinnie Coletta doing some thick inks, and I think
Right.
they look fabulous. Um,
Right.
but we
I
can
mean,
talk about the others later.
we can talk about like the other thing that I wanted to talk about just briefly is that I also was in Los Angeles this past weekend, and I got to the Skirball Cultural Center and saw the Jack Kirby Heroes in Humanity exhibit, which was super cool. Not necessarily fourth world centered, but lots of original art and lots of historical stuff. They had his army uniform there, which Jeremy Kirby had said had not been out of his garage for 30 years. So
Oh
uh,
wow.
it was super cool. I had lots of things there that I was thinking, huh, I could write about that or I could write about that. But then I was like, do I really want to dive back into that? So, but super cool. Like the artwork was amazing. There was one particular double page spread from Devil Dinosaur that Colleen, my wife, was like, she's like, well, it's all art, but that's art, you know? And I couldn't tell you what page it was. It was pretty famous, but it's a big like dragon image. But it was super cool, super fun. It was fun to go to. And anybody who's in LA or going to be in LA or in the LA area, you should definitely get out there and see it because it's there until like March of next year. They said they talked about it at the Kirby tribute panel this year and said that it might tour, which if you get a chance to see it, it's amazing. They have, I think, the entire X-Men #4, I think it was, like the entire book, original art on one wall.
Nice.
So it was pretty cool. Anyway, uh, with that said, that's my what I did this summer school report. Um, Starting with the Jimmy Olsens. Uh, I thought this was super cool stuff. Um, uh, like Sean said, the Universal Monsters bubbling out of it was awesome. I do have to say, I don't think that Jack's style lends itself easily to horror imagery, in my opinion. I think it's a little too bombastic, you know? I don't know. I'm fully prepared to be told that I'm an asshole for saying that, but uh,
They call me bombastic, Mr. Fantastic.
that's the Fantastic Four. That's not the fourth world. Um, but I mean that I've just thrown that out there. Discuss.
Um, well, I think the coloring, does there's some great moody coloring, page 10, where it's all green. I
Right.
think that does some work for it. Um, but yeah, it's not exactly what you'd call moody.
Right. It's not like a Bernie Wrightson page or
King
a
Colon.
yeah,
Yeah,
Coleman or say, like one of those guys I think could have, made this really, really cool.
right.
Uh it's like there's always Kirby always has a sort of odd um just outside of normal thing to all of his artwork, which serves him well for like superheroes and gods and things like that. I just don't know with like the vampire and like we were talking about with the the foot. you know, it's like, oh, all right. Um, although I say that, I think his demon run has a lot of really evocative stuff in it, but that also wasn't. I don't know. I don't know. Maybe I'm just being really critical there, but
Well, I mean, to be fair, that foot would have been much better if like it had been defined, and I think the it getting muddy had more to do with the coloring than his penciling.
oh sure, and I do think we can say that Vinny put in a lot of really heavy blacks, which he did, but I think he also could have um, defined that image a little bit more. Anyway, I don't know.
Actually, I think that was Al Plastino doing a Kurt Swan Wolfman foot.
Yeah. Well, yes, this is also a book where you definitely see the Al Plastino doing an impression of Kurt Swan redrawing Jack Kirby's Superman heads and Clark Kent heads all through this issue.
Yeah.
Like it's really, really strange. Yeah. Um, but no, like I don't know. I mean, like I don't want to badmouth it because I actually story wise I really enjoyed this one.
Yeah, they were both fun.
It was super fun. It was it was superhero and comic book hokum at its finest. Um, because like the resolute like the planet with horns, I mean, that's awesome. It's
Yeah.
ridiculous, but it's also awesome. But there was something else that it was that I thought was oh yeah, the coffin thing where those were their spaceships or whatever. And I was just like, eh, that's odd. Okay.
Well, I mean, like
Yeah.
you were saying, Kirby can't really do horror very well, so we had to make it
Well,
sci-fi.
that's true.
Yeah, I mean, it is sci-fi. I mean,
It is
to
sci-fi.
that point. And, can Kirby do horror or was Kirby doing sci-fi? I mean, that's
Yeah.
the
Right.
I
question.
mean,
Right.
like that's the real question. What was his intention here? Was it
Right.
was it um was it to do something that actually it was evocative of a horror story, or was it a sort of like I when I was reading it, the first thing I thought of was that Star Trek episode, A Piece of the Action. Where you have the the uh, alien culture that gloms on to any bit of information they can get and creates their whole society around it. And they get a book about Chicago gangsters, so they think that this is
Right.
how culture is supposed to be. And I think that that's sort of what he's going for here is that, they're being beamed these horror movies. And so they all just take that as a design for life. Also, but it also is like they also know that this is like a bad thing that's being done. So like, again, I always feel like the details are not all that important, let's be honest. It's just, um,
Wait a minute.
Well, I just hope in the film version, Vic Tayback plays the Count.
I never been arrested in my whole life. Sorry. That's a joke for the Trekkies out there. No, I don't think you're
And
stupid.
Alice fans.
And Alice, I don't think you're stupid. I just think your development is arrested. I never been arrested in my whole life. Anyway. Um, let's see.
And the Newsboy Legion
Mm-hmm.
are on their own side quest,
Yeah.
which I kept waiting for them to pop up in the same location.
Yeah.
I was like, how is this? And it didn't. It
Yeah.
was just it was a literal side quest.
Yeah. I do. There is on page let's see. Where am I at here? Issue in 143 on page 18, a magnificent Kirby machinery panel where Superman's running.
Right.
It's just, yeah, it's incredible. I love that stuff. Love it.
I mean I love the second splash of that issue with Jimmy and Superman uh, coming upon the coffins.
Yes.
I
Yes.
almost feel like maybe this was inspired by Dark Shadows.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
Well, don't they? It mentions Dark Shadows at some point, doesn't it?
is it?
Maybe I don't remember. For something I was reading recently mentioned Dark Shadows, and I was like, oh, huh. But
But I love the captions in the credits being
yeah,
in one of the one of the
yeah.
coffins lids.
Well, and actually, this is a moment where I actually, we've talked about Kirby's dialogue and is it good? Is it bad? Is it flawed? But actually, that one pal,
All of the above.
in defiance of all the fears which have marked my human experience, I can't resist this gesture of placing our credits here on top of the coffin. And I was like, that's pretty cute, Jack. That's a nice one.
Well, this is why I say all of the above.
Right.
Every time I decide he can't write dialogue, there'll be like 6 pages where it's like, oh, you nailed it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
And everything in between.
It's like I mean, like I tend to think that a lot of times like um I confess I read all of these last week before I went to LA, so my brain is a little fuzzy on them. So but yeah, um once again I was not very taken with the backup stories. Um
Well, I mean, at least one of the ones I had, and I forget if it was, I think it was New Gods, had a reprint of a Kirby Simon Wesley Dodds
yeah, Sandman.
Sandman against Thor.
Right. No, I mean like
I'm sitting there thinking to myself, this is probably the first time Kirby drew Thor.
yeah. I mean, mine mine only have the backups that are related to the fourth world
Right,
stuff.
Right.
So,
right.
um, I don't know. I felt the backups just feel like they're filling up pages sometimes. So,
Yeah.
and maybe they probably are, but
Well, before we move on from Jimmy Olsen, if we're moving there, I did a little bit of social commentary, page 17 of issue one. If you'll turn in your hymnals, um, page 17 of issue 143, in the middle panel, where the Legion, the newsboys, are climbing up the ladder,
uh-huh.
and Scrapper says, "Keep your fingers crossed, men. This may be the last hard stretch of road to freedom." And Flippadippa says, "Flippadippa's heard that before, and I'm still in the back of the bus."
Right, yeah.
Which, you know, in 1971 or so, in a kid's
Yeah.
comic, I think that's a pretty,
That's
Yeah.
pretty big thing to have in there.
I mean, like Kirby certainly had a very great sense of that kind of thing, of the social justice sort of stuff. I think that that is true. I clocked that as well. I mean, I still don't know about naming that character Flippadippa, but I mean, but I get it. But yeah, no, like once again, like there is this. The Jimmy Olsen books are always lumped in with the Fourth World, but they never really feel like they're adding much to it, you know. Um, that said, I don't know. I actually enjoyed these two books greatly.
Yeah, and look, it's
Yeah.
high concept,
Yeah, it's
projecting
totally.
checking the
What if aliens became the universal monsters?
yeah, I'm
Blah.
sorry, I've
Yeah,
got sirens outside. Um,
I
yeah,
can't.
and projecting the dreams or the films onto
Yeah,
the clouds. Now, of course, ending by showing them Oklahoma is is kind of out of left field, but I think we now know that Jack liked Oklahoma.
Jack liked Oklahoma, and
When
now
the wind,
there. Like why no one has revisited this planet and they would all be driving around with Surreys with fringe on top?
right? And he's going to wash that Stanley right out of his hair.
Not yet. It's coming.
It's coming. It's definitely coming. And by the
Yeah.
end of this podcast,
By the end of this podcast, we're gonna see. Anyway, we'll talk when we
I
get
mean,
there.
are we going to see anything? We're audio only, Mark.
Well, yes. If you're reading along with us,
Okay.
you'll have
Okay.
seen. So, okay. Uh Forever People. Should we move on?
Sure.
sure.
See it, believe it. The Omega Effect. Dun dun dun. Um, and this apparently was the issue with the backup with Sandy and Sandman and the villain from Valhalla. So, uh, um, what can I say? Really, Jesus, what was the name of the like? It's been so long, I've even forgotten the name of that unified being that they all turned into. Um,
It wasn't Voltron? Oh, wait.
no,
No, that's a different.
it was through the power of the mother box, we all become. What was the name of that character? Oh my God, I can't believe I've forgotten this. But it's been
I
like
can't
four or
remember it
five
either.
issues.
Yeah.
Like that seems like that's a concept that just got dumped. I'm sure it comes back at
Infinity
some point.
Man.
Infinity Man, that's right. Yes.
I don't understand how I couldn't remember that.
Um, I think I always enjoy a Glorious Godfrey story. Um, he reminds me of
You're
someone.
either frozen. Oh, there you are.
Um, I don't know. I don't know. He reminds me of somebody that we know in life now, but
Oh yeah.
shock of red hair and his um I mean, it is the first time we get to see um the Omega effect, which, has become it's like part and parcel with Darkseid. Um uh I don't know. I mean, I don't I don't know. I don't have a whole lot to say about this issue. I mean, it
Well,
just
I what I found interesting about this issue,
mhm.
um, you know, obviously, Desaad
Yeah,
and uh, Apocalypse, Darkseid,
Darkseid.
their dynamic is interesting to me in this issue.
100%. Yeah. Like it's always been interesting, like that Darkseid is evil, but he's not wanton or crazy.
Cruel.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no cruelty to it. It's
I,
just you will do what I tell you. It's almost like uh it almost reminds me of when Doctor Doom is written really well, you know?
right.
Like that even though I don't think Doom is anywhere near as evil as Darkseid, um, because Doom actually does care for his people, you know. They are there to serve his needs, but he will also not, like, if someone is harmed in his kingdom, he will hunt them down and punish them. He will
Right.
punish the person who does it. Whereas Darkseid doesn't really seem to care. But at the same time, like yeah, like the idea of cruelty seems almost abhorrent to him, like
Right. I regret to say this, Desaad, but I
yeah,
don't have the stomach for your kind of pursuits.
right. Um,
Yeah, I found that interesting. And then leaving Seraphim alone,
right.
after what is it, tracer beams? What do they call them?
Well, it's
Finder
the
beam.
Omega. Well, yeah,
The
but that's the Omega
It's
effect.
the
Yeah,
Omega effect, but it's light beams that can, zoom all around like a heat-seeking missile.
right, right,
Um, which presumably they move at the speed of light. So, but still, it's a comic book,
right,
so you have to see the trace.
right. I mean, and I did love when the Wonder Bike or whatever it is, like turned into the battle station thing at the end. You know, it
Yeah,
kept reconfiguring itself into whatever was needed. And I was like, that's pretty cool. Um, but it also seems like Seraphim has become sort of uh, Jonah isn't the word, but the kind of the martyr. Like he's always the one who bears the brunt of loss the most. He's always the last one left. He's always the one that's forced into a position where he feels like he has to help everybody else and doesn't know how. Um,
right.
which is cute, especially when he's like basically dressed like kind of like a Clint Eastwood cowboy character.
Well, the two-gun cape.
Right. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And it seems like, the way he looks would seem to indicate that he would be a little more competent. And then a lot of times he doesn't seem that competent, but I don't know. Uh,
Yeah, I thought it was a little confusing to have the backup story also focus on Seraphim.
yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it like like, essentially it's how they left New Genesis to come to Earth. I don't know.
Right.
Seraphim meets Big Bear.
But isn't it like after we've seen Big Bear die, which also makes it a little weird?
Well,
Well, yeah, but no, this is a tale. This is
yeah,
another incident in the lives. So this
No,
comes.
I'm aware, but it's still like
Yeah, it's weird.
it's
earlier
yeah,
this
so
issue.
well, and the other thing is, I mean, like, well, I'm not going to spoil it, but it is kind of spoiled by
Um,
the
yeah,
by
Mark, these books came out
yeah,
50 years ago.
but you've never read them, and we're reading them in order. So
Well, when John
Okay,
Travolta
okay.
comes out of the bathroom and sees Bruce Willis standing there, sorry,
right. Well, I mean, like the title of in our next issue, I'll find you in yesterday. That's a pretty big hint as to what the Omega effect actually does.
right,
Yeah,
like Weeping Angels.
exactly. Exactly. Don't blink. Whatever you do, don't blink. I am sorry. I am so, so sorry. Anyway, um,
Right. Big,
but
big pointing scene.
what, um, yeah, I don't know. I mean, I feel like, we have does oh yeah, Sunny Sumo gets sent back too.
Yep.
Yeah, I feel like do you here okay. The last two issues of this book I really liked. I liked the idea of Happy Land and, I liked the subtle critique of the Disney Empire. Uh, and as somebody who was just in Disneyland, um, like there's things there that you can like poke at. Um, I thought those two issues were really great. Those were the two best issues of Forever People that we've read so far. And this one felt it really does kind of feel like it's batting cleanup, if that makes any sense. Like it's just like there to, okay, we got to move these pieces around the table to where I need them to be or whatever. Or just coming up with stuff, right? Because like I'm with you, Sean. The best scene in this book is the conversation between Darkseid and Desaad.
Right.
I mean, like that's the whole point of the book. Um, it feels like one of the things. It's like we were talking about the Infinity Man. Where's the Infinity Man? Where did he go? What's the deal with that? Um, it almost feels like Sunny Sumo has become the replacement for the Infinity Man. Except now he can actually talk to the kids, right?
Right.
And um, uh, and I'm not look. Everything's a product of its time. Blah blah blah. There is an element of Sunny Sumo that every time I read it, I'm like, wow, this is kind of a stereotype writ large. It's the magic Asian. It's like, oh, I have a deep understanding of everything. I know everything. I'm also stronger than everyone. I'm also, it's like, okay, why didn't we just change the name of the book to Sunny Sumo and just see the adventures of Sunny Sumo? Because that might actually be more interesting. But I don't know. Maybe I'm just being too hard on it.
That's supposed to be my job.
It's my job is to tell the truth and
That's
not
right.
give spoilers.
All I've got is a red guitar.
That says this machine kills fascists.
three chords, and the
And the
truth.
truth. Okay. All right. So, all right. See the super cycle defend itself against savage human attack. Oh, I can't wait for that issue. Like, yeah, like whatever this is setting up sounds like it's going to be fun. But this issue is a lot of setup.
Yeah.
All right. So where do we go? Like, we should go to New Gods next, don't
I
you
think New Gods, I mean, I really think this New Gods is kind of next level for
Yeah.
me. Um, it looks great. Uh,
The art is awesome
yes.
on every level. Um, Somebody was talking about this. I will say this double page spread of the behemoth taking apart the boat right at the beginning. Page
The Glory Boat,
yeah, the glory boat.
which is again, we talked about all the things going around in the wordplay going around in Jack's head,
Right.
glory boating, you know,
Right.
I mean, he puts these concepts together in a very, very interesting way.
Sure.
Sometimes a little corny, but it's it's very clever, and I find it very effective.
I mean, I think it is effective. I was just saying that as much as people were talking, like I may have been, I think it was at the philosophy panel. They were talking about that particular two-page spread and how amazing it was, and the image. And yeah, it does have a feeling of power. But if
Mark
I
Badger
took
was just lost in it.
what?
Mark Badger was just lost in it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I mean, like it is like it is imagery wise, it's great. I don't know that I would have figured out what the hell was going on in this if I just looked at it. You know, like you sort of see the beast, but you don't, right?
Right.
Um, I don't know. It just for the first time ever, I found myself thinking that Jack that might have been a little too busy, you know. That said, every other page in this book is magnificent.
Yeah. I
I
mean, there's so much Kirby crackle
right.
everywhere. Uh, I just think it looks amazing, and that the second splash, page 5, with
I was just looking at that. And I was
Orion
just going to
coming
say
out of the water
it's
like a
almost
Polaris
biblical.
missile. But
It's almost biblical.
yes, I
Like
mean,
I think
it reminds me of a Kubert Bible
yeah.
page.
Well,
Uh,
yeah. I mean, it's almost like I almost think of like the fishermen and you know uh it's
yeah,
incredible.
and I mean, we have a parable again. This is a very socially conscious
Yep.
issue, uh, which I find effective.
Right.
I also Light Ray.
Yeah.
Um, there's a moment where Orion says something. He's like, you are like a planner or something, which to me signifies that Light Ray is basically Odysseus
Sure.
uh,
Yeah, I can see that.
in Jack's
Right.
pantheon.
Right.
Uh,
Well, and the thing about it is like I actually if I okay, I don't know. Maybe I'm confused. I thought that the glory boat, right, was this thing that erupts out of the wooden ship on page 25, which again, incredibly biblical and religious imagery. And quite honestly, having gone to that Kirby exhibit, like
Hmm.
Kirby's religion is clearly a big thing to him, right? If even if just that he sees it as a basis of storytelling, right? Uh, but I mean, like this image of you have Light Ray on the top of the thing, like with his arms out, like he's beseeching the heavens uh for aid.
Yeah.
The the boy laid over the top of it, like a martyr, which is clearly the way that that character is set up.
Yes.
And Orion, on the side as the um the anti-hero, the one who maybe isn't quite into the holiness of it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
You know. I just like this page, like every page as you go by. And again, we've talked about this. There are a lot of splash pages in this book.
Yes.
Um, and for well, maybe not as many as I thought, but for, well, let's see, one, there's the double page spread, three, four, five out of 26 pages. So, I mean, that's almost
It's
almost 20%, 20% of the
20% of the
book.
book. Yeah.
I mean, but for the very first time, I never once clocked. I think that maybe Jack was trying to, like, I can do one image and get a page out of it to move faster. Like, I think every one of these splash pages in this book have impact and are meant to have impact in the way that they do. Um, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, I really dig the storyline of the father and the son.
Yeah,
Um, the son or the father talking about Normandy, uh, and that final image. After the father freezes up and he's left on that boat, like
yeah,
like the um like Jonah,
right,
or like the ancient mariner.
right,
Only I am escaped alone to tell thee. Well, that's from Job actually, but uh,
right.
or Moby Dick. But I just think
Well,
that's a powerful image and a powerful story. Showing that the youth um, are standing up for what they believe in, and
mhm.
I think coming from Jack, I think that's a heck of a storyline.
Well, I mean, this whole thing where Jafar grabs the son and literally steals his face.
Right.
I mean, like that is what that invokes is like when that happened, I thought about Joseph Campbell. I thought, the hero of a thousand faces, that like um heroism has no face.
Hmm.
Um also it also created another faceless hero, but this one she'll go to the story source as one of us. And I thought about the Tomb of the Unknown Soldier. I thought about, like this is a pivotal and really, really top-notch bit of Jack Kirby work. Like it is magnificent, beginning to end. I love the design of the Deep Six. I love you know,
Yeah, no, there's again, the artwork on this, the storyline. I think this is, probably my favorite New Gods uh
issue so
are.
far.
Um, and oddly enough, just the other day there was a Facebook post in a Kirby group, and it was actually by Arlen Schumer about this final panel,
Right.
arguing that this is proof that Kirby needed an editor, which I, was complaining about the punctuation, the exclamation marks
Yeah.
or points, and kind of arguing that it was making the points over and over.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I feel it works for me.
I mean, I can say I do think that Jack never met a point that he couldn't reiterate 4 times, right? Like, especially when he's coming towards
Doesn't
the
want
end
you
of
to
the
miss
book,
it.
right?
Right.
Well, of course not. But also, here's an interesting thing.
I
This
mean,
is
kids today.
I also love on page 23 the first panel where the father, everything's burning and Orion's trying to get to him, and he's then we die, we die. Did Richard flinch? Did Richard run? No, I did. I did. I turned away. The
Right.
flames are coming up, and uh and Light Ray pulls him away, and then he's like, "It'll be over before the flames reach him," which is it's just I don't know. I also love that when they take Richard and they put him on. I always thought of this as the glory boat. Maybe I'm wrong, but
I don't know. It's
yeah,
not
I
spelled
like
out.
I
And
don't think it.
unfortunately, and when I was talking at the beginning, I was thinking glory boat was like a saying, but that's showboat.
Yeah, yeah,
So I was
but I think this is. I mean, they're taking Richard to the source, and as soon as they lay him upon that thing, his face returns.
right.
I like like we talk about the philosophy of it, right? And
Well,
while
this would be a great issue.
this would be a great book to talk about if
Yeah,
you're going to talk about the philosophy of what's going on in this
right.
in the fourth world. And that is and I think that
Because it's Valhalla.
for yeah. Well, I mean, but and forgive me, Kirbyites, forgive me. But I think sometimes the vehement Kirbyites get so wrapped up in trying to prove that Jack was prescient about all of this stuff, right? Or that he saw the future, or that he, had some magical connection to the spirit of the universe or something. They lose the basic uh epic storytelling and philosophy that is there, right? Because like like you say, like if we had been on that panel, I would be like, let's just talk about the glory boat. Because I think almost everything that Jack wants to say is in this book on some level. And it's done in exciting ways. The art is beautiful. The writing is actually, it's maybe a little overwritten, but everything was back then. Um, but god damn, like,
Panel submission for
yeah,
2026.
yeah.
Jack Kirby's Glory Boat.
Jack Kirby's that, yeah. The philosophy of Jack Kirby's glory boat. Suck it, Kirby Museum. No, I'm kidding. Um,
The
we'd
views
have to find
expressed by Mark Pracht are
we'd have to find a rabbi who could come and do it with us because I think that would be the topper, right? Anyway, like 100% what you said, Sean. This is the best issue of New Gods so far. It is magnificent. End of story. You talk amongst yourselves.
yeah. Tad.
I loved it. I had fun with it. I'm fading fast, so I'm enjoying
Okay.
listening to you.
Well, should we move on to the pièce de résistance?
I think so.
To the 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 greatest piece of character assassination in comic book history,
Mr. Miracle #6, everyone.
Mr. Miracle #6, the introduction of your friend, the Funky Flash Man. Where to begin? Uh,
I mean,
I think it really does. Like, I hate to jump into it, but I mean, like, it really does behoove the discussion of the things people say about Stan and the things people say about Jack and the certainty of these things. I think the most interesting thing about this issue is actually House Roy. Because Roy Thomas has said when this book came out, he'd never met Jack. He'd never spoken to Jack. He'd never exchanged anything, like letters or anything with Jack. Jack didn't know him. Jack had no basis to be that cruel to Roy Thomas. Certainly, this is at the depths of his conflict with Marvel. And obviously, Stan was and is the face of Marvel Comics.
and we get both faces
And we get both
in
faces.
this issue.
Um, some like it's just a lot of it. Like, it's hard for me. Look, dear listeners, we talked about I wrote a play about Stan and Jack and the creation of Marvel. I read a lot about the Stan and Jack and the creation of Marvel. And I think there are many things in this book that do not sit well with me. Um, I think that I think Sean said it once. This book is straight up character assassination. And it is, it's hard for me to read it.
It's
And
cruel.
it's cruel. It is very cruel. And certainly, I think Jack had all sorts of reasons to be angry. Um, and I promise I won't just keep talking. But it really is hard for me to read this book. I think that no matter what Stan did, and I certainly think the origins of Marvel Comics as a publication is full of inaccuracies uh, and misdirection by inference, right? But he never says anything bad about Jack ever. And yeah, I don't know.
Yeah. I mean,
Please, somebody else talk
does
because
does the bust of the Colonel represent Goodman?
I have to
That's where
think
the
it
money comes
does.
from.
Right.
Right.
I mean, like, it also, like, the implication that it's a slave plantation also seems really ugly. Like, really ugly,
Yeah.
right?
It's so decrepit.
Yeah.
Uh, I mean, yeah, and Funky's, you know, uh, loquaciousness, shall we say?
Yeah.
I mean, it is. There's no way to deny, and I know some people deny but there's no denying what this is. Uh, but I mean, it's very interesting, and people have done a couple of things with Funky over the years. Uh,
Yeah.
but yeah, I also found, the big Barda's fight with Lashina
Yes.
and Mad Harriet. Uh, I enjoyed that. Now Lashina, now there's a costume.
Um, I I do have to say there are times when I think about what like these characters in particular, and I do wonder about Jack's kinks. I mean,
Yeah, I mean, I will say last month we got into that, and it was a little fur afield for me. But this one, there's no getting around what this
right.
is really referencing. Uh,
Yeah,
so maybe
right.
Jack just had a lot to work out this issue, a
Yeah, yeah. I mean, like,
couple of different levels.
I mean, yeah, it is yeah, yeah.
Yeah. Uh,
I mean, yeah,
it's
it's
ladies and gentlemen, this is a very odd moment. Mark Pracht seems to be at a loss for words. Uh,
It happens every once in a while.
you know, I'm sorry. I feel like, this is an audio podcast. I feel like we're supposed to fill the like dead air. I feel like start talking. Start talking.
Yeah, yeah,
right.
yeah.
But
But
Tad just groaned like he's like, God, dude, stop talking. Stop talking.
No, no, no. Like I said, it's my first full week of school. It's 9 o'clock on Thursday, and I fell flat on my face this morning. I'm starting to hit a wall.
I hear
nine
you.
o'clock
Well,
on a Thursday.
the
The
regular
regular
crowd
crowd
shuffles
shuffles in.
in. They're all in the mood for a comic book. And we've got a few coming in. Uh, anyway, um,
Well, I mean, I think, the if we want to sum things up, I think to get back to Funky, uh, the collapse of the house of ideas, basically,
right,
uh, and him walking away basically unscathed, without his disguise
right,
is, I think that's Jack's final word here.
sure. Well, I mean, but I also, like that's Jack's final word. But I mean, I also think that history proved, you know, otherwise. I mean, like I will say, like the caricature of Stan is scathing, as you said, and I can almost accept that. But it's I think the Roy Thomas character, calling him House Roy and making like and a person that he never met, like it's just sort of like it's guilt by association, which is it would seem to be one of the things that Jack would be horrified by,
Right.
and in other contexts. But as we know, and that's not me being like Jack Kirby, what a jerk. It's just, that's we're all human. We're all full of hypocrisy. We're all full of contradiction. It is just uh it is one of like I will say, like we haven't really talked about the art. The art is magnificent. The caricature of Stan is actually quite good.
Yes.
Uh, um, but like
Both. The disguise and the real.
the disguise and the real
Yeah.
version of Funky. Um, so I mean, like you can't say like the second panel on page 23 when he's jumping out of the explosion. It's magnificent. Um, it's evocative. It's incredible. I mean, but it is just really it's really hard for me to it's just hard for me to read.
As the one that always has to play both devil's advocate and um trying to and I know you do too, Mark. Sean, you do too, but Mark writes about it, trying to really get into the psychology of people and how things happen. Is it possible that part of this is the result of Jack working fast and having no editor? So he had a bad day on the day he happened to make this comic, and nobody was there to say, Jack, don't.
I think here's my thing. This would have been after or relatively close to the time when he started going to San Diego and he
Right,
started interacting with all of those kids who all treated him like a god, right?
right.
And I think it's much the same way that I think about, and I think I've talked about this before, but it's the Gene Roddenberry effect of when you're surrounded by people who keep telling you that you are the the well from which everything comes,
Right.
you start believing it. And when
But
you
that doesn't
have,
make you mean automatically.
well, and I also think that he would tell these stories to these kids, comics will break your heart, kid.
Right,
Um, and I think that he was getting feedback that was like,
right,
well, and the kids were probably telling him about Roy Thomas.
right.
I mean, and it's like how much,
But
how
but
much,
but
yeah.
I mean, but
Well, I
again,
had
I
a
mean,
story about Roy about the
right.
St.
I
Louis
mean,
sale come out yet? I mean, that might be.
The sale. I'm not. Please contextualize that for me.
There's there's a story about uh, a St. Louis Comic Con
Oh,
where a lot of Jack original art
original art. Yeah.
was
Okay. Yeah.
sold,
Yeah. Yeah.
and uh, the thought is that Roy had a hand in that,
Right.
depending on who you
Right.
do about it. But,
Right.
but
Yeah.
apparently,
No, I think look, I in no way am trying to belittle Jack's problems or the way
oh,
that
absolutely.
Marvel did things that they should not have done. Um, but I also think it was around this time that you started having things like Comic-Con selling original artwork, right? Like prior prior to the early 70s, like was there a value for that kind of stuff? Like, we have like these interviews with all of these old timers who are like, and they're like, "Did you get your artwork back?" And he's like, "No, why would I want it? Like, I didn't want to keep all that
Uh,
stuff because
I was recently told that Justin Green sold all of the pages to Binky Brown to his own lawyer at $8 a page.
Mhm.
And even when he found out that friends of his were getting more for their stuff, the lawyer wouldn't let him renegotiate it up. He's like, a deal's a deal.
Right. But I mean, like
And
the
yeah,
whole, I just don't think that any of those guys thought that it had any value. I
right.
don't I don't think they thought of that way. And that's certain, like, I certainly think that if Roy Thomas was involved with that St. Louis sale, and now with context, I understand what you're talking about. Um, uh, that is a issue, but I firmly believe at this point, I think Goodman was still there. I think this is right before, maybe my timeline might be wrong, but like it also, like it could have come from the top. It could have been like Goodman telling Roy Thomas to get rid of that stuff, or um, because I really think that Stan's control of that company uh, is overstated until Goodman leaves. And once Cadence has purchased Marvel and they install Stan as the publisher, right? And that's when he has control over this stuff, right? Doesn't mean that he did the right thing all the time, but you know, he made the deal for Jack to come back. And Jack did come back. So I don't know. I mean, like the whole thing, I mean, like in a way, this issue is worth its own like 3-hour discussion, because like there's so much shit that is piled into this book, you know, about how an artist feels manipulated by management, and how feels manipulated by the money men and the suits, and also, you know, like the sexual implications of it are, you know, I know, like you said, Sean, it sometimes it's a little strange to talk about it, but I mean, like the things are there,
Right.
like, and uh I do think that
I mean,
Jack,
we've got Barta in the tub here.
right,
I mean, there's a lot going on, and
yeah,
Barta at the bottom of page 11, you know, with her towel not wrapped around her, but just in front
right,
of her. I mean, this is for for
for
Jack.
Jack.
This is a lot.
Well, and I also
My
think that,
experience.
yeah, no, it's also a lot, but I mean, it's also, I'm just talking about imagery stuff. Like, you know, like, I have a laugh about Granny Goodness's power wand that
Right.
looks stunningly like a vibrator, right? Um, and uh, with the nature of that character, I have to think that on a visual level, Jack was having a little fun, right?
Right.
And I think that what is lovely about uh, Scott and Barta is that they clearly have a sexual relationship. Like it, it comes out of every panel to me, you know. Uh, it's an adult relationship, and I think that's great. Um, but I think it also speaks to, I think it speaks to Jack's relationship with Roz, because I still say that Barta is his stand-in for Roz,
Right.
right? Um, but yeah, I don't know.
Thinking
It's just,
about, oh,
yeah, go ahead.
I was going to skip to the young Scott Free story. It reminded me, um, a lot of the stuff on Apocalypse, the signage reminds me of the Prisoner.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, we
And
know that Jack knew of the prisoner and liked the prisoner.
right. Didn't he draw something?
He drew he was going to do, I think it was for DC. The DC thought they had the rights to do a prisoner comic book, and Jack was going to draw it. There are pages out there of his version of the prisoner.
Right.
And uh, I think that it spoke to a lot of the same things that he was trying to talk about with Apocalypse. Certainly, like even the dark side of like, I am not interested in cruelty. Like most of the number twos on the prisoner spend their time trying to seduce number six rather than bludgeon him into, you know, conformity, right?
Right.
And I think that that's all really interesting. Anyway, but Tad is fading.
I'm also reading about the Gateway Con. I found an article on it. So I'm reading about stolen artwork in St. Louis. I fell down the rabbit hole that Sean gave me.
Well, what's really interesting. What's really interesting is when Colleen and I were at that exhibit, right? She was asking me, well, how did they like? I thought you said that like his artwork was lost. And I said, yeah. Well, like I say in the play, it was either um, lost, stolen, or destroyed. And she said, so was all his artwork stolen? And I said, I would hazard to guess in a lot of these cases, especially with that early Marvel stuff, it probably was, you know, that I mean, and I'm not going to assign uh moral indignation to fans who were given the opportunity to buy a page of Jack Kirby artwork and did so, unbeknownst to them that it was not the opportunity wasn't given to Jack to get it back. Uh,
Right.
but at the same time, like I'm willing to bet, like, we were going through that room and there was a lot of stuff and it was like from the private collection of whoever, right? And I was like, this guy seems to have a hell of a lot of Jack Kirby artwork. And it may have changed hands over the years. I mean, obviously, we've seen Kirby pages for sale in San Diego, all out of my price range, but I look every damn time, you know.
Yeah.
Um,
Well, I know, and I don't know if the Kirby estate has thought of something like this, but I know the Ditko estate, they are issuing an amnesty. Like anyone who has Ditko art, um, it's yours. Um, but they are asking, people to um, lend it to them
sure,
to get high quality scans.
sure.
And they'll give a certificate that this is yours. It's free and clear. They have no claim on it. But in
Mhm.
order to get that certificate, and I believe that's how this works. They want to get a very high quality scan so they can have that for posterity and
Mhm.
probably uh, future artist edition type.
Well, and there's a Forever People Artist Edition coming out this week. Um, so they must have been able to collect a significant amount of those pages. I think it said that all of issues, let me go look it up again. Um,
I mean, I think that there's enough of this stuff floating around now, um, that people are able to find it. And I do think, for the most part, and I certainly get the impression from the Kirby family that they're not interested in trying to reamass any of this stuff. Uh, for, you know, because like honestly, as I said, I think in most cases, most of these people don't have any. There was no ill intent in getting it. It was just they wanted a piece of Jack's art. But you know, and I was, you know, I was explaining to Colleen about how, you know, they like at DC, they'd slice it up.
Yeah,
And, you know,
they used
and
to do that with Windsor McKay.
yeah, I
Almost
mean,
all of the Little Nemo got sliced
Right.
up.
they would slice it up and like if somebody sent in a good letter,
Right.
uh, you know,
Yeah, no,
Morgan,
Windsor McKay's kids sold off
yeah.
essentially panel by panel of Little Nemo.
Hmm.
Um, I know the Billy Ireland has at least one complete page, but they had to like recollect it. You know, you can see where it's been cut up. But yeah, the artist edition coming out this week has all of 1, 4, 5, 6, 7, and select pages from 8. Um, Including corrections, blue pencils, paste overs. So you're seeing original art. So, yeah. Well, that's another
Anyway,
one in the books.
there you go.
And more fun next week. We'll be on what, issue 7 of everything,
Yeah,
and a
I
couple
think
more
so.
issues of Jimmy Olsen.
A couple more issues.
And in between then, we'll maybe get back to the Shadow on Pulp Blotter, and then
Yep.
Yeah.
figure out where to go from there. And anything
I
else you guys want to plug?
I
Anybody
I
acting
have
or anything right now?
Sean just got
I'll be
cast.
starting rehearsals, but uh, we'll be back before the curtain bows, so
Okay,
I can plug that next time
that
when
sounds good.
everything is
I have I have
announced.
nothing. I have
You have
nothing.
nothing. I don't believe
Although
you.
last I did bring Sean the four pack box set of Mego Fantastic Four action figures from the Disney Park exclusive. So
Nice.
They're awesome.
they are awesome.
I'm
I have
totally
one.
forgetting which ash can I asked you guys to get me at San Diego, but did you
I
manage to get it?
no.
You did
No,
not.
of course not. That's okay.
Where yeah.
You have your specific schedule. I knew it was a long shot.
Anyway,
Oh, wait,
Tad
now
is
I remember what it was, and I know the editor on the book. So, I might beg her to send me one if she's got one.
send Tad one of the books. Tad is fading. Tad is
Yeah,
fading.
Tad is
So
fading.
Dad, take care of yourself.
I'll say thanks for listening to the 22 Panels podcast, and we'll see you after the next page.